Oh, yes. Yes. It's Friday night. It's Friday night, and what would you rather do than sit here and hang out with me and talk football? There's nothing you'd rather do. Very jacked up today. Has nothing to do with the 8 espressos. I actually overdid it. I didn't realize this, but I got these little 6-ounce cans of espresso. I put them in the refrigerator. They froze up, so I ended up unfreezing them. I had 3 anyway, long story short, I'm super jacked up today. Super jacked up. I'm going to break down every single game. It was a great Thursday night game in case you didn't see it. Great Thursday night game. And what happened was looks like Russell Wilson's going to be out for a while. Bear with me one moment. I am going to make sure that I am good to go on all my platforms. All right. It looks like I am good on Twitch, and I should be good on YouTube. And I'm going to double check and make sure I'm also should be streaming live to Facebook too. So I'm streaming live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So, oh man, with the Russell Wilson injury, the Seahawks being 2-3, it does not look like I'm in really good shape for that Seahawks bet. That's a tough one. However, with Arizona, hopefully Arizona will beat San Francisco, and the 49ers, they'll be 2-3. And I think they will go and start Trey Lance for the rest of the year. And that's going to be interesting because Jimmy G is a interesting trade possibility. I don't think you can really keep him around as a backup. That's my opinion. Funk, what's up, brother, man? I am really fantastic. Hopefully you are too. Hopefully you're going to have a great weekend. Some really good college football games, some really good NFL games, and I have action that I'm going to place on 2 games. I haven't placed it yet because I'm waiting for the lines to change. The first game I'm betting on is an early game. Actually, no, I'm lying to you. It's an afternoon game, but the line's been changing, and I'm going to wait till kickoff. The second game I'm going to bet on, I think you already know the answer. I think you already know what game I'm betting on. It's a late game, later than the afternoon. So yeah, man, I am fantastic. Hopefully you are the same. Hopefully you're doing really well. I really hope that you are. I'm going to break down every single game. Didn't put a link in the description, but I'm more than welcome to. And what I can do is that I use my bookie, but I've never received a payout. I've never received a payout from my bookie. So I don't want to sit here and say it's a great source or not a great source, but all my numbers today are coming from my bookie. If you want a link, let me know. I'll be more than happy to put one. So absolutely. Hey, Gino didn't look bad, though. Seattle isn't done yet. Well, it depends on their schedule. I mean, here's the deal. I need them to get over 10 wins, and they're 2-3, and they're in a tough division. And Geno Smith, while he did not play bad, he's not going to lead them to a 9-2 record. Did I do my math? 9-3. So I need him to go 9-3. I need him to go 9-3. And geez, he's not going to do that. Now, it looks like he will start for about 6 to 8 weeks. Or, I mean, it depends. It's a bad finger injury. Russell Wilson's never missed a start, so we'll have to find out. But I think he's going to be out for several weeks, and Geno's not the answer. Not for them to go 9-3, and that's what I need to win. However, 10-7 gets me a push. I will definitely take that because it looks like San Francisco is going to win. It looks like I made a very smart bet with San Francisco. And Denver Gator, by the way, Denver Gator is actually cheering for the Steelers this week, which I was really surprised. But he's all in on the Steelers. He's actually got a Steelers jersey that he's going to wear for the game. So Denver Gator is cheering for the Steelers this week. So, yes. So hopefully those are my 3 big bets, and then the smaller bets I have are still, even though Kansas City is 2-2, Kansas City has a big game Sunday night. All right. Alex, what's up, brother, man? I'm quite happy as my Astros take a 2-0 series lead over the White Sox today, going for the sweep in the best five. And man, that is awesome. I actually didn't know, man. I really didn't. So I saw 6 to 8 weeks. Hopefully it's less because as soon as they get their as soon as they hit loss number 8, I definitely lose that $1,000 bet. So, but I got a couple of bets this week that are real good ones. I got some really good ones. I'm not taking any prop bets yet, but I'm going to kind of do some research. But yeah, I saw 6 to 8, but you could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm sorry. I'm going to go over every single game, and I'm going to give you the 2 games I absolutely love, but I haven't put action down yet. One thing is that I don't know if Mike's going to join us or not, but Mike posted a comment that is Grayson McCall, the Coastal Carolina quarterback, the best college football quarterback. And the answer is yes. And I think he's a true sophomore. But if he's eligible to come out for the draft, he should come out. He may be he may go in the first round. I haven't watched him play yet. So anytime a Chicago team gets slapped around and Angel gets it, well, you are going to get a chance. You're going to get a chance for that to happen. They travel to Vegas. I think that's going to be an interesting game, to be perfectly honest with you. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. That don't rule out Chicago in that game. Amazement, what's up, brother? You know what? Let's go over all these games. Let's go over all 4 of these games, and I'll give you my opinion. I'll go out of order here. And I'm not sure which source you're using. I'm going to use my bookie. To tell you the truth, my bookie's a lot better here. Let's start off Panthers -4. Carolina's a 3-point favorite. So here's the thing is that I actually like 4. I really like 4, to tell you the truth, but my bookie has 3. To tell you the truth, I might actually piggyback on that and jump on the Panthers. I was planning on kind of passing on that one, but I think I might actually join you there. Titans -4. My bookie has 4.5, so you got a great number. I actually really like that one with all the Urban Meyer information. I think he's going to finish the end of the season. They are going to win a game. They're not going to 0-17. And I really, really like this game, though. I don't think that they will get the win against Tennessee. I think Tennessee will come in ready to play. A popular prop bet, you might want to go ahead and take Derrick Henry over on rushing yards. I know it's going to be a high number, probably like 105. But yeah, go ahead and put action on that one. I think that would be solid. Giants +7. It's funny. I actually kind of like that one, and there's no logical reason behind it. But the reason why I like it is I'm just not buying the Cowboys, and a lot of times a team that's not very good that gets overhyped, they come back down to earth. It wouldn't surprise me if Giants win this one. Giants have better defense. Okay, Giants have the better defense. So I like that number. I like 7. I think these two teams traditionally played good. So I like all of them. And this game is taken off the books. So you got Niners +6. I don't like it, and I'll tell you why. Trey Lance is starting. So you get a rookie quarterback starting his first game against a good team, but you get them coming down. So you get the Cardinals coming down. So I like your picks here. Except I don't like the Niners because you get a rookie quarterback first time starting, and going into the week, you weren't even sure. So I like 3 of them, and I may piggyback off your Panthers game. I wasn't planning on it, but I may take that one, and then because I was planning on double dipping another game. So, but all these are really solid except for your Niners pick. I wouldn't bank on a rookie quarterback. That Cardinals team's damn good. So. My care for football has kind of dwindled since the Texans are terrible and we don't have a good QB for 2 weeks. GG, New England will lose that game easily. If you didn't If you didn't see though, New England has only one of their starting offensive linemen healthy. The other, it's just the center. The other four are out for a variety of reasons. So it's a more interesting game than you think. A rookie quarterback against Belichick's tough though. That's a tough one. So I don't expect you to win, but I think you'd be surprised. This may be a lot more interesting than you think. So. Yeah, man, a sweep will get to it. Damn, I was looking good until that damn Washington game went over the total. What the hell's going on with their defense? That's actually a great question. I thought at the beginning, I said this a lot. I didn't like the pick in the first round. And Ron Rivera, of course, I was the same guy who also said that Luke Kuechly was too high of a pick, and Luke Kuechly probably end up in Pro Football Hall of Fame someday. So I think it was Jim and Davis. Here's a guy who's like a third or fourth round pick, and then he had a great combine. Started watching more of the tape, and all of a sudden Washington took him in the first round, and they put him at middle linebacker, which means he's the captain of the defense. And I didn't like that move. I really didn't like that move. The defensive line should be the best defensive line in football. Secondary has some problems. The middle linebacker, he's not adapting fast enough, or I haven't watched enough to Washington football team, but yeah, this is a disaster. And don't get me wrong, Heineke's playing good. And that's great, but he's not a guy who's really a quarterback. They need a quarterback. And yeah, he played well. He's made some splash plays. The team likes him. Everybody's rallying. Great. He's not the answer. He's just not. So if he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. I hope he does. I'm pulling for him. But the Washington football team looks like they're in trouble. But keep in mind, they started off slow last year. They ended up hot. A lot of pieces are in play, but they're not there. Urban Meyer will not be an NFL coach by the end of the year. Very possible. I don't think this is a good. Okay. I think he finishes the year. All right. I think he finishes the year. I think University of Miami is perfect for Urban Meyer. I really do. He could go back to college. I don't know what college program besides the University of Miami. Except for USC. And I don't see him going to USC. I don't see that as the right move. But Miami, I don't know of another Power 5 team that would be willing, because University of Miami would not have a problem giving Urban Meyer a lot of money. He would have to make an insane amount of money. But Florida State's another school, but I think Florida State would avoid it. I think Florida State's going to go all in on Deion Sanders. And if they don't, then that's a big mistake. And for those of you who don't know, he's doing a great job recruiting at Jackson State. So, but that's kind of what I see happening. But I don't think there's another team besides Miami that's really good for Urban Meyer. Maybe Tennessee. And I don't know the coaching situation, but Tennessee's a huge program that's just been terrible, and they may go ahead and do it. I think he finishes the year, and then I think he goes back to college. And he would have to go to a program that's willing to pay him about $10 million a year. And he's worth it in the college ranks. I do think he finishes the year. And there are some good things going on in Jacksonville, too. It's not all bad, but it doesn't look good so far. Funk. The 49ers game is one I wouldn't touch, and I'm a Lance supporter. You never really know with a rookie QB. Exactly. You said it. It's kind of funny we're on the same wavelength. And by the way, I'm for San Francisco doing this, so I can go ahead and win my under 10 wins. But it's obvious you don't want Garoppolo. He's played well enough that you could trade him and get a second, third, second and some changes. You can get some good stuff for Garoppolo, and he's not your guy, so go ahead and get rid of him. It'll be kind of interesting to see who would want to take him. I don't think you can get a mid-season trade for him, but it's possible. It'll be interesting to see. But if I'm San Francisco, I just make the move now. Have him start against Arizona. You get a bye. San Francisco gets a bye after this game. So this is why I like to move to Lance, is that you have him start against Arizona. You have the bye, and then you go into after the bye week, he's your starter for the rest of the year. And then you're building for 2022. So, and it's also really good for Miami. They get that draft pick. Miami's going to have a ton of draft picks. So that's what I would do if I'm San Francisco. Yeah, yes, he does. Yes, he does. But he's awesome against rookie quarterbacks. My buddy Chris, what's my take on Gordon in Kansas City? I kind of talked about this the last show, Chris. I'll rehash it. I don't have a problem. It's not really that big of a deal. I was really surprised that they activated him, but apparently the rumor is that Gordon and Kansas City have been in constant contact over the last 8 months, and he's been clean. He's doing everything the right way. I mean, in the NFL, they can random drug test. As a matter of fact, Le'Veon Bell tried to sue the NFL because he was tested 5 times in a month or 2 months or something like that. And the NFL was picking on him, and he obviously lost the lawsuit because the NFL can do whatever they want. That's part of the player policy, is that you can get random drug tested at any time for any reason. Matter of fact, there's so many examples that I got another damn fly. Anyway, there's so many examples where one player was on his honeymoon. He had to leave his honeymoon, meet an NFL executive to take a drug test. You can go to GNC, me or you can go to GNC and purchase 7 different items at GNC that's banned by the NFL. All right. So what my take is that he's been in constant contact with the Chiefs organization. He's clean. He better be in the best shape of his life, but he's not the same player he was 7 years ago. This is a guy who's going to play probably a handful of snaps. He's not going to be the option 3 or 4. He's a guy who's probably going to play maybe 10 to 12 plays this Sunday. And if he does more, then that's great. But I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I really don't. I'm actually surprised he made the active roster. It's more indicative. I will forever be mad at Kansas City for taking Juan Thornhill. For those of you who don't know who Juan Thornhill is, Juan Thornhill a couple years ago was the 63rd player chosen in the draft. Number 64 was DK Metcalf. And when they were getting ready to pick 63, I'm like, could it be DK Metcalf? And every time I see DK Metcalf score a touchdown, I keep thinking to myself, what would he do in a Chiefs uniform? For those of you who don't know, Juan Thornhill is not even starting on the Chiefs defense. So anyway, long answer. The short version, it's not really that big of a deal. I think after the season's over, I think he'll be gone. So I took the Niners because I see the Cards feeling himself a little bit. That I do agree with, and overlook the Niners. Cards win, but I think the game is a 1-score thing. Kittle being doubtful makes me nervous. TNs are safety. Yes, Kittle being banged up, offensive line being banged up, multiple injuries, issues in secondary, rookie quarterback, and I think the game's in Arizona. Yes, the Cardinals may be feeling themselves. They're not. The one thing that I liked what Red Sea said is that they're now a top tier team, but they're not the best team in the football, and that was smart. Hopefully the Cardinals are not feeling like they're the best team in football, because if they do, then a divisional game could be a problem. I would not have taken that bet. But you got 7 or 6. That's a solid number. And these two teams usually play each other pretty close. The other 3 are solid. Matter of fact, Carolina. I'm tempted right now today to take Carolina in 3 against Philly. So I may do that. Man, I felt like strangling my Gators players last week. Drove me crazy with the penalties, the awful coaching. Guys were prepared. Mullen gets on my nerves. You know what? I didn't even watch the game. I didn't even know they lost until you guys told me. I didn't even know. I'm sorry. But yeah, A lot of talent in that Gators team, though. I need to watch Florida. I really do. I'll be honest. Even though Penn State and Iowa is a top 5 matchup, I'm not going to watch that game. I can tell you for a fact, I watch Iowa. That's not a top 5 team. That's not a top 5 team. And Penn State, even though I didn't watch Penn State, I meant to DVR Penn State, Indiana. I wasn't going to have time. Penn State's not a top 5 team, even though I haven't watched them. I'm telling you, they're not. They're just not. Okay. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. I won't watch it. I might DVR Texas and Oklahoma. The running back for Texas, I have got a major hard on for, major man crush on that kid. A lot of people say you don't want to take a running back in the first round. This kid out Texas may be the exception. I think he's a sophomore, though. He's a Heisman candidate if they win over Oklahoma. He needs to have a huge game. Huge game. So, I mean, I'm sorry about your Gators, but still a damn good team. Still a damn good team. So, I don't think the Cards. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, Funk. I don't think so. What's my opinion on the Chiefs? D is struggling. A lot of it's okay. Let me give you some lame answers, but these are truths. They gave $100 million to Frank Clark. He's played in a half a game, and he's been. That half, he was banged up. He's not the same guy. I thought it was a major loss the Chiefs took when they traded for Frank Clark. They gave up way too much for Frank Clark. Then they gave him $100 million. And, yeah, he helped the Chiefs in the playoffs when they won the Super Bowl. But he's been not on the field. During the regular season, I think that year, even though he went to a Pro Bowl, he had 8 sacks. And then the next year did okay, banged up in the playoffs. Hasn't played it all. I played, I think, 2 quarters at that. So what the Chiefs did is they took their best defensive player, and that's Chris Jones, dominant defensive tackle, maybe the second best tackle in football, maybe. That's debatable. And they put him at end. Here's a guy who's 6'6", 300, 290, 300, 310, and he's playing. My picture's blurry. Okay. And he's playing defensive end in the Chiefs defense. And the reason why is that they don't have another guy. They got this guy. He's a 5th-round pick last year out of Michigan, Mike Dana, undersized guy. Solid. He would be great if he was the Chiefs' backup defensive lineman, but he's been starting. They got Okafor, who came back to Kansas City. He's a guy, ideally, he's a backup. Frank Clark, if he plays, is going to be instrumental. He needs to come back and be healthy. That's key. Willie Gay, Chiefs 2nd-round pick from a year ago. If you were to say, God, build me a linebacker, physically it's Willie Gay. He posted some stuff on Twitter today, which is really messed up. He said, I'm so effed up in the head mentally. And he left practice due to mental. You don't want any NFL player to be tweeting stuff like this. He's been banged up. He was going to play. Now it looks like due to personal issues, he's not going to play. And they were really hoping that he would take a step forward. They have a 2nd-round pick playing linebacker who's been starting. And last week he did not play good. It was the first time he didn't play good, but the Chiefs traditionally hate playing rookies, but they had to play a lot of rookies. We brought in some free agent corners that have not played well at all. I mentioned Juan Thornhill earlier. He was a 2nd-round pick a couple years ago, and he's been on the bench. So here's the drill. If Frank Clark comes back, and Chris Jones is banged up, he may not even play. But if Frank Clark comes back, Chris Jones comes back, that's a big part of it because this defense is predicated on that defensive line and pressure. Okay. If Clark comes back and plays like the player he's capable of playing, that's going to fix a lot of things. So combination of injuries, moving Chris Jones to end. Here's the thing about Chiefs defense. It's going to be better at the end of the year than it is at the beginning of the year, which is now. But they need to get healthy. And some of these corners need to play better. We got Mike Hughes we picked up from Minnesota. He's not been playing well. And then, Honey Badger, he missed the first game of the year. So, I mean, we're going to have it's a combination of injuries and health. So, and then the personal issues with an NFL player, that's a bad one. Wasn't it Golden Tate that got a suspension for trying? It might have been Golden Tate, yes. And what it was is that he was taking fertility drugs, and I'm not a medical professional, but basically it's a testosterone boost, which showed up as a steroid. And I think it was Golden Tate actually, and it was the doctor apparently. Okay, according to Golden Tate, and I don't know if he won or lost this. I don't remember, but according to Golden Tate, the drug was given to him by a fertility doctor, and the fertility doctor said it passed NFL guidelines, and turned out to be it didn't. So, but was he really taking a steroid? Who knows? A lot of times the players say, "Oh, he shouldn't have taken a steroid," and it's like, yeah, right. So I felt the Rams were the same to the Cards when they played them, and I was right. Usually good feeling the team. All right, hey, listen, yeah. No, hey, listen. This is Norm. I agree with you, but a rookie quarterback. So yeah. Tough weekend for all my boys rocking orange and blue Gators. Don't worry though, Denver. Your Chiefs and your Steelers are going to be winners. So we got you good there. I think Seattle should blow it up. I don't see Russ staying there for long. They're a mess and they need some new face. The problem is with Seattle, and I said this for a while, is that their drafts are horrible. They've made a ton of mistakes drafting players, and it's caught up to them. The reason why they are successful early in Pete Carroll's career is that look what they got. They got Russell Wilson in the third, Richard Sherman in the fifth. I think Cam Chancellor was undrafted or like a 7th round pick. They had so many good players, and the last couple of years their drafts have been terrible. And then so they have to overpay in free agency. I mean, Jamal Adams is extremely good. Doing a fantastic job. I mean, Carlos Dunlap's played pretty well on the defensive line. Drawing a complete blank on their linebacker. It's not KJ Wright, it's the other one. Drawing a complete blank. Arguably the best middle linebacker in football, but their corners are not very good. The offensive line's so. They got DK Metcalf because the Chiefs messed up. And then the other one, Tyler Lockett, he was a 2nd round pick. But they're not going to do this. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're not going to do this. And Russell Wilson probably will stay there. I think Russell Wilson genuinely likes being in Seattle, and Seattle is more than happy to make him one of the top paid quarterbacks in the National Football League. But yeah, they really need some help. They really need some help. They need to draft a lot better. Their drafts the last several years have been atrocious. I wasn't that big on DK, John Metcalf, and people on the Lions take him in the top 10. I felt for a long time the top 10. The only reason I wanted him, well, okay, if you back up to the draft where the Chiefs took Thornhill instead of DK Metcalf, they took Miracle Hardman. They traded up in the 2nd round to take Miracle Hardman, which was a big mistake. And the reason why is that during the time of this draft, Tyreek Hill was falsely reported for abusing his wife again. So there was talk about him being kicked out of the NFL or missing the whole year, and the Chiefs are going to suspend him. And this was on the heels of the Kareem Hunt situation where the Chiefs had to release Kareem Hunt. So they traded up for Miracle Hardman, and then they were convinced that DK Metcalf wouldn't be available. So they went ahead and they ideally he's a safety who has corner skills in Juan Thornhill, but he hasn't been able to show it. Anyway, DK Metcalf at the bottom of the 2nd round for a team like Kansas City works. It's worked in Seattle. The Lions taking him in the top 10 would have been laughable. I would have laughed, and it would have been a bad move for him. And I don't think it would have worked with DK either, who has had a lot of big plays, but I think he's a little overrated. As far as being fake Megatron, I don't know if I would consider him a fake. I thought he was pretty solid, and he should have gone in the first round. Getting him in the bottom of the second's a steal, but a little overrated. But still, I mean, he would easily be the second number 2 receiver in Kansas City. He would be behind Tyreek Hill, and him going after the deep balls is number 1 aspect. Well, one of the few quarterbacks in the NFL throws a better deep ball than Russell Wilson's Patrick Mahomes. So, yeah, Denver, Mullen seems to have a game like this every year. Kentucky has beaten us twice in 4 years. I did not know that, so I'm very, very sorry. Philly Nation, what's up, brother? Great stream, brother. Just going to get your quick thoughts. My Eagles are beating Carolina Sunday. Eagles by 7. Let's go. No. No, I'm very high on Carolina. I love Carolina's defense. The bold move they made for Gilmore, who's not going to play in this game. They also traded for CJ Henderson. This defense is one of the best defenses in the league. CMC may come back. Man, hey, listen, I'd love to have more Philly fans in here, so I'm really glad you're here. Hopefully, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up, by the way, if you're here. Give me a thumbs up. So, yeah, please, please, please give me a thumbs up. I would bet against you. Matter of fact, I may take Carolina, which if you go to my bookie right now, Carolina's a 3-point favorite. I might go ahead and take that right after the stream's over. I like Carolina to win this game. I actually tell you the truth, I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina wins by double digits. I'm really sorry. I think you're in for a long year, but I like Jalen Hurts. Devontae Smith looked awesome against my Chiefs, which is not a good thing for the Chiefs. Jalen Reagor really needs to play like he's a first-round wide receiver. I don't know. You tell me, because every time I've seen Jalen Reagor, he seems to have like the worst body language of any NFL player. He just seems like he's just I don't know. It just looks like he's just. And remember, they took him over Justin Jefferson, but at the time I liked it, and I liked him at TCU. But every time I see him play, he seems to have this really bad body language. And I'm wondering if it's just a bad communication. I don't know. You'd have to tell me. DK Metcalf is okay, but Seattle drafts have been so bad. Taking in a running back in the first is really a 4th-round pick in Penny. What was dumb about that is that they could have took Sony Michel. And by the way, I had a huge man crush on Rashad Penny, but they could have took Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb ended up going 34, I think. And then Sony Michel, I think, went 30th. If I remember right, he went 30th. He went in the first round. Either one of these guys would have been better than Rashad Penny. And I loved Rashad Penny. I had a major man crush on him. Loved watching him at San Diego State. Loved him. I didn't like him in the first round. And Chris Carson beat him. And I don't know if he's a healthy scratch or what the deal is, but he'll have to move on. Penny was a midday 2 in my eyes. Yeah, I loved Rashad Penny. I loved Rashad Penny. I thought he was a second round player. And the year before they drafted Chris Carson, so I don't get that. He was a 7th round pick, but they should have known that they didn't need to use a 1st-round pick. So I mean, we're on sync today, Funk, man. This is awesome. Game of the week: Bills, Chiefs, Browns, Chargers, sneaky good, Packers, Bengals. There's a lot of great games, man. There's a lot of great games. I told you I'd go in order, so let me knock a few out. Jets in Atlanta. I actually really like Atlanta in this one. I know, piggybacking up, the Jets had a win. Both rookie head coaches, but the reason why is that this trip to London's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to affect the Jets more than the Falcons. I'm not going to bet on it, but I really like the Falcons in this game. The Falcons are a team, I think, that even though they look god-awful, I think will look better. Side note, after the season's over, I think Matt Ryan will go to another team. It'll be very interesting to see the whole Matt Ryan situation, or if Atlanta just goes all in to try to get Matt Ryan a Super Bowl this year, which I don't think will be the answer. But anyway, it's a kind of interesting situation. I I don't want to touch this game, but I have to admit, I like Tampa Bay. Miami's at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's now a 10-point favorite. I actually like Tampa Bay in this one. Miami is just falling apart. Really, this was a team I thought could be a dark horse Super Bowl team. They are not. I didn't check the weather report, but even though both teams can play good defense, I'll tell you the truth, I kind of like the under because I think Miami may be held to like 10 points. Blowout win for Tampa Bay. Philadelphia and Carolina. Right now, Carolina's 3-point favorite. I may actually put action on Carolina right after the live stream. And then this is actually a very underrated game, but it's going to be very good. I really want to see this. Is New Orleans at the Washington football team. The reason why this is going to be a good game is because the loser's in really bad shape. And the winner is looking at the playoffs, and let's be very clear. Tampa Bay is going to win that division. Carolina looks like a playoff team. So the Saints, can they get in the mix? And then Washington, though, if they lose, they're what, 2-3, 1-4, something like that. I mean, but if they win, they're right back in the hunt to win the NFC East. Right back in the hunt. This is a fun game. This is going to be a fun game. The over-under is 43.5. I actually really like the over. I haven't checked the weather report, but if it's good weather, this might be a really good one to go ahead and take the over on. Might be a really good game to take the over on. Pete was right out of college when he made those great picks. That's why he was good at Draft Back 10. They have yeah, absolutely. And this is one thing is that if you take a look at Carolina, their whole coaching staff is coming from the college ranks. So I think for the next year or two, they'll have an inside track on some really, really good picks. So I expect the same thing out of Carolina for next year or two. They're going to get some really good players in rounds 3 through 5, which is important. If you've been watching my show for a while, I tell you that the first round of the NFL draft is for show. It's for guys like me, and if you're watching this, obviously for you, big draft fan. Love the draft. So anyway, round 1 is for us. But you're in building an NFL team, it's rounds 3 through 5. That's key. You got to have rounds 3 through 5. You got to hit on those picks. And I think that's what Carolina is going to do over the next year or two. And that's what Seattle did. They hit on rounds 3 through 5. They got 2 Hall of Famers. They got Richard Sherman and Russell Wilson in rounds 3 and 5. And that's the reason why they won a Super Bowl. But the last couple of years, they have been garbage in the draft. The reason I call them fake Megatron's because Lions. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely not. But I kind of see the comparison, the size, speed, the build. But and yeah, I get that. Dan, I'll be seeing you next week after he dropped Carolina. Hey, man, good luck, man. I mean, best of luck. Oh, yeah, brother, I'm subscribed to your channel. Keep it great. Man, thank you, Philly. Thank you, Philly. And I'm curious. It says Philly Notion. I wonder if it's supposed to be Nation. I'm not insulting you. I'm just but just asking. And man, hey, listen, we need more Philly fans here. We need more Philly fans here. I think Alex dropped off, but just to be warned, Alex is a big Cowboys fan. So, Philly, tell a friend. Yeah, please do. One Pride 40. What's up, brother? I'm back early from my high school game. I'm not really impressed with the Rams. They're a team that is one injury away from being a 500 team, and then that division is going to be brutal. So their defense is not what it was last year. All they have is Donald Ramsey. Well, they got Leonard Floyd, and then they lost a lot of free agents. So, no, it's not the same. You lose your defensive coordinator. You lost some free agents. Leonard Floyd's a pretty good player, but they lost a lot. The Rams really lost a lot, and they're a team that really, really needs to stay healthy. Ramsey or Donald gets hurt, that's a 500 team. Of course, Stafford goes down, they're a 500 team. They need to stay healthy, but they're healthy into the playoffs. I wouldn't want to play them. Those poor London fans always get those bad teams going. Excuse me, I had the hiccups. going over there. I don't think they really care. Do you see a team being out there? Who the NFL wants a team out there in a few years to come? The answer is yes. And the plan was originally to have two teams, one in London and I think another city, because they don't want to just add one team. Okay. I don't remember the source, but the NFL, the plan was originally that the NFL was going to expand, but not two teams. It was going to expand 4 teams. They're going to have 2 teams in Europe and 2 teams in the States. San Antonio is probably going to be one. And then either Mexico City or Toronto, right? Then it was going to be London and Frankfurt. That was the original plan. So even though like one was in North America, but outside the United States, San Antonio, and then there was a possibility of, I think a team was trying to put, there was a financial team trying to put together a bid for St. Louis, which I think fell through completely. There was a group for San Diego and a group for Oakland. Both those fell through. So the plan is San Antonio, which by the way has a stadium. Okay, San Antonio has a stadium. They're ready to go. Mexico City's been talked about. Toronto's been talked about for a long time. So here's the drill. The NFL will expand out to London and Europe. It's going to happen. I think it's going to be a few years down the road. And I think what's going to happen is I think the NFL is going to expand by 4. And this was the plan that was put into place a long time ago. It's going to expand by 4. And what's going to happen is when that happens, it's also going to expand from 17 to 18. So what you're going to see is an 18-game season, 4 teams in the NFL, 2 over in Europe. It's what's going to happen probably, I'm going to say 2025. It's going to happen very soon. They might get, I don't want to talk about the big pandemic issue because that's a YouTube red flag. But I think what will happen is that once everything's cleared up, London and I think it's going to be Frankfurt, but it could be another team, and then San Antonio is going to be one of the teams. All right, Texas is football nuts. So anyway, it's going to be San Antonio. Probably I've heard Mexico City, and then I've also heard Toronto. There's a chance you may do Toronto, Mexico City, San Antonio, and London, but I think the plan is London and another team in Europe. I've heard Frankfurt, because they're Frankfurt. You wouldn't have the stadiums there; it's all ready to go. San Antonio, and then another city, and Toronto or Mexico City. But everything's probably going to work out. So. Exactly, which makes us good is Jason Litch hitting on our late picks. He also built a team so good for our QB like Brady to consider us. He's responsible for Brady being with the Pats too. That's the key. I'm telling you right now, when you want to build an NFL team, rounds 3 through 5 are the picks you got to hit on. You got to get starters. When Andy Reid, his first year in Kansas City, our 3rd round pick was Travis Kelce. We had a 3rd round pick before he got here, Justin Houston. Jamal Charles was a 3rd round pick. People in Kansas City think Charles is a Hall of Famer. He's not, but at one time he was the best running back in football. Travis Kelce is a Hall of Fame really he's a wide receiver, but we'll call him a tight end because, I mean, that's his title. But, I mean, he's a Hall of Fame tight end. You got him in the 3rd round. Tyreek Hill. One of the best receivers in the National Football League, 5th round pick. All right, you're getting Kelce's a Hall of Famer. Tyreek Hill isn't. All right, not yet. So anyway, so you have a 3rd and a 5th round pick. All right, you gotta get starters rounds 3 through 5. But you're right, you gotta hit late round picks. If you don't, then you're not going to succeed. You can hit on round 1, but if you miss 3 through 5, you're going to mess up. And Seattle's been missing on the whole drafts the last several years. So they are a wild card bounce out, in my opinion. If they are not healthy, then yes, I agree. And the NFC playoffs are going to be a lot of fun. NFC playoffs are going to be a lot of fun. Coke, I think you mean come on now, but they got carved up by Genius Smith. Oh man. Okay, well, part of it is that I think they're playing in prevent, and then when it mattered, they got the interception. But be honest with you, there's probably multiple quarterbacks that are not as good as Geno Smith and that are in backups. So the Lions will be moved because Martha passes away and Sheila fails and Benzos will buy it. I've heard that quite a bit, and I'll be honest with you, it wouldn't surprise me if they get relocated to Toronto. It wouldn't surprise me at all. It's a bigger market, and I actually could see that. And it would make a lot of sense too. And here's the thing: the second it moves away, let's just say them. There was talk about the Bills too. Let's just say a team moves. Let's just say Detroit to Toronto. Like sales, like everybody wants. It'll be a big deal. I'm pulling for them to stay in Detroit, but it could happen. I'm going to tell you this right now. A lot of people don't know this. The Chiefs owner lives in Dallas. A lot of people don't know this, but the Chiefs owner lives in Dallas. There was talk before Andy Reid came here of boycotting the stadium. We had that 2-14 year. We had the first overall pick in the draft, and people are like, let's boycott the stadium, show them what's up. And I'm like, why would you do that? Because as soon as Arrowhead stopped selling out, he would just move to San Antonio. The Chiefs originally were from Dallas. Kansas City's a small market. I mean, now Kansas City relocating is crazy, but when the Chiefs were 2-14, if they weren't selling out, would the Chiefs move? Absolutely. So, I mean, if you don't think the Lions would move to, if you think it's impossible for the Lions to move to Toronto, you're dead wrong. I'm pulling for the Lions to stay there. Hopefully they stay there, but it would make a lot of sense from a financial standpoint. Just seriously, like Toronto, let's say they change the name. And by the way, you should, if Detroit does lose their team, do the same thing that the Browns did and try to keep the name so you can get a franchise back there. But yeah, I can see it happening, to tell you the truth. But I'm pulling for you guys. I want you guys to keep your team. Nobody who likes Detroit would like that. Hey, Funk, do you think Dan Campbell as an NFL head coach seems like he would be perfect for college to me? Luke G, he comes in every now and then, and he does his own show. I will give Luke G props that he is. He's not afraid to admit he's wrong. He's not afraid to admit he's wrong, but he's adamant that they're going to turn things around. And they're not going winless. But man, Red Sea, it's great to see you, brother. Great to see you, brother. I need you guys to win this week. I'm going to be beyond pissed if you lose this week. Calling him a great college coach is not really an insult, but I think I really want to see how he does next year when he has more talent. Right now, he's at such a coaching deficiency. It's a shame. It seems like the type of coach that can get you fired up to play, and college players seem to gravitate to that more than the pros do, just my opinion. I get where you're coming from. I think it's unfair to judge him just on this year. He needs at least 2 years. Now, if you add a bunch of talent to the Lions, which I think they're going to do, because you're going to get 2 first-round picks. I think you also have an additional 3rd-round pick. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then you're going to have a bunch of free agents that are going to hit Detroit next year. If you have all these picks plus all these free agent acquisitions and you win 5 or 6 games, then he will be fired. All right. I mean, he's not going to stay in Detroit for 3-4 years. He's going to get year 2. All right. And then if he does lose his job, to the best of my knowledge, he doesn't have any college experience. Now, neither did Herm Edwards, and Herm Edwards is doing a great job at Arizona State. But I think it's too soon to tell. And he's really it's like one hand behind his back because he's learning the coaching ranks, right? And keep in mind, he was a tight ends coach. He was not a coordinator. He was assistant head coach, and he had some head coaching experience with the Dolphins. He took over as interim head coach. But this is a guy who's got such a talent deficit there in Detroit. I really think that this year you kind of got to give him a pass. So Dan Campbell's a good coach. The team he's coaching, not so much. I kind of feel like he needs – it's too soon to tell, but whatever he does this year, I think you got to give him a pass because they have such a probably the least talented team in the NFL. So Campbell is good. I think Goff's a lot better than you guys think, but he's definitely a step down from Stafford, and then you lose a lot of things. So, but if it gets sold, they will be moved. That is true. That is true. If the Lions get sold, they will move. That's pretty much a guarantee. Pretty much a guarantee. Yeah. I actually like Dan Campbell as a straight shooter, has next to nothing to work with. Funk, it's really weird because we're like on the same page completely. We will have one of the first comp picks this year. Thank you, Ken. Yeah, you're right. And that should be a third-round pick. So you have additional third-round pick, 2 in the first. And then I'm telling you this right now, you're going to get very creative in this draft. So it's going to be lots of fun. All right, I'm going to go through some more games here. Tennessee at Jacksonville. Tennessee's a 4.5-point favorite. I do like Tennessee in this one. I also really like the Derrick Henry rushing prop. I don't even know what it is. It's probably going to be very high. I may put action on the Derrick Henry over on the rushing yards. I think he's going to have a big game. Next game is Detroit at Minnesota. Minnesota's a 10-point favorite. Actually, on this game, this is a weird game because this is a game I can see Minnesota coming in flat for. So don't take the 10. But I do like the over on this game. Neither defense has really played very well, and it's 49.5. This might be one I might put action on. I might take the over. And the reason why is Detroit's been playing really good at the end of games. They haven't been giving up. Give a ton of credit to Dan Campbell for having them fight. This is a game that might be really fun to watch. Minnesota needs this game, but they could also come in flat. I like the over on this game. I think it could be a fun, high-scoring game, surprising high-scoring game. Next game, Denver Gators really excited about this, and that's Denver going to Pittsburgh. This game was a pick-em. Now Denver's a 1-point favorite. I like Pittsburgh in this game. I might put action on the Steelers, but they bit me in the ass. I need them to win since Seattle's probably not going to win. So kind of need some help there. This is going to be a fun game that I love the over on. I have to check the weather report, but Green Bay's going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a 3-point dog. You can argue that if you want, but I think that's accurate. The over-under is 50.5. I think this could be a very high-scoring game. Very high-scoring game. I'm going to check the weather report. Another game might take the over on. Here's the deal. He's going to get 2. All right, he's going to get 2. And at the end of the second year, if they're a 4 or 5 win team after next year, regardless of what happens, he'll be gone. He'll be gone. And here's the deal. That used to be true, but the way that free agency is now with the comp picks and free agency, that timetable has now been moved up to 2 to 3 years. He's got to get this team turned around in 2022. They got to be competitive in 2022. The expectations of Detroit fans were 7 to 10 wins. They need to be a 7 to 10 win team in 2022. That has to happen. All right. And there's going to be a ton of turnover too. Ton of turnover after this year. Actually, to be honest with you, I was really thinking there would be a lot more turnover at the beginning of this year. So that's my point. Herm gets players to play so hard because he knows he'll inspire them, and he's got the best out of him. He's not an X's and O guy. Herm got to start with us when Dungy was our head coach. That's actually not true. You got to start in Kansas City. This is actually funny. Here's how good this Kansas City coaching staff was in the 90s. Marty Schottenheimer, head coach. Bill Cowher, defensive coordinator. Tony Dungy, secondary coach. Herm Edwards, special teams coach. God, damn. The Tampa Bay head coach, Bruce Arians, was the quarterback coach. God, there's another big time name that was also on the offensive side. Anyway, there's like 7 head coaches, 7 or 8 head coaches. But yeah, actually, Dungy was the secondary coach and Herm was the special teams coach. And then they kind of went together for a while. But yeah. Honestly, I believe we get 4 wins and draft Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame, who had a rough game against Cincy. But yeah, I love his game. We talked about him Wednesday, and I don't think he's 6'4", 220. I don't think he's quite that big. I think he's more like 6'3", 205, 210. But when they do the combine, and I think they're going to do an official combine this year, I'm curious what his measurables are going to be. He'll be the first safety in the draft, but whether you take a safety in the top 5, top 10, that's debatable. The corner out of LSU, Stingley, I believe, is going to have surgery on his foot. He'll be fine for the combine. Probably going to sit out for the rest of the year since LSU is not a national championship pitcher. He's another guy that the Lions are going to consider. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to draft, but we got a lot of football to play. Got a lot of football left. So, but Kyle Hamilton's going to skyrocket through the draft, and I don't see any quarterback that's really. I don't see any quarterback that you can say this is a first round quarterback. I think Ritter, the quarterback out of Cincinnati. I think that after teams talk to him, I got a feeling he's going to ace the interviews and ace the whiteboard, and then he'll be a first rounder, but he's the only one I see. So it'll be interesting to see what Detroit does with all those picks. But I mean, we've got a lot of football left. We're going to talk a lot of draft though. Us losing is probably more likely than you may think. We'll be down at least 2 starters in this game. Could be upwards of 4 or 5 with our current injuries. I get that. San Francisco's also got a lot of injuries. Trent Williams, starting left tackle, is banged up. I think they're missing another starter on the offensive line. Kittle may not play. They got a lot of injuries and a rookie quarterback. And here's the deal: you need to win this game. I get this is a game I could see Arizona kind of sleepwalking through, but it's a divisional game. You need to win this one. I'm going to be very mad at you. Detroit may be out Ragnow and Sewell this week. Hawk may be out too. Hawkinson's playing some damn good ball. And I love Swift. I've always had a crush on Swift. So, honestly, everybody says our biggest need is wide receiver. It's actually safety. You need help in both positions. And then, now I'm going to tell you this right now. You're going to get help in both. Through free agency in the draft. I think you're going to see massive upgrades on both those positions. Yes, definitely followed by safety, then quarterback. Dan, you got to be honest, stop leading. Mike, welcome, brother. Welcome, brother. I'm being honest here. The future is bright, but 2021's bad. I think the future is bright. Oh yeah, I forgot about KC. Yeah. Herm and Tony went hand. I don't know if Herm followed him to Minnesota. I don't know that off the top of my head. I don't think he's that big. But when the combine comes out, we'll see the official numbers. He's probably Notre Dame probably lists them as that, but for those of you who don't know, all colleges kind of fib on the height, weight, speed things. So, Funk, do you prefer Hamilton or Thibodeau? That's actually a good one because there's a good chance. I'm going to tell you this right now: if a quarterback doesn't step up, Thibodeau will probably be the first player chosen. I don't see a safety being the number 1 pick in the draft. I don't see it at all. We'll probably finish with the 3rd pick and take Stingley. I'll probably coaches have no shot in situations like Jags or the Lions because their owners get so impatient. Okay, both teams are in kind of interesting situations. The Lions have a new management. The daughter, I believe, has taken over. Sheila Ford was like 92 years old. She stepped down. Daughter's taken over. There's a chance that she's going to sell the team. There's been all sorts of rumors. Jeff Bezos been wanting to buy an NFL team. So they have new management. And when they took over, they transformed everything about the Detroit franchise. And that's what I really like, is that they transformed everything. They went after, they got some really good front office people. I like the Campbell hire. I think he's been hamstrung, and I was expecting them to do a lot more during the offseason than what they did. And they're going to have to spend money too. They're going to have to overpay for free agents, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. But they've done some different things. And the owner from Jacksonville, he has tried a bunch of new things. He's a businessman from Pakistan. He actually put in, I think it's something like 350 or 250 million into the stadium. My sister went, and she said the stadium's a dump. It just needs to be overhauled. There was all sorts of rumors that he was going to move Jacksonville to London, and that was like the number one thing. Then he invested 350 million into that stadium. They built the pools in there. It actually holds, I think it's like an insane amount, for an NFL stadium. It holds like, I think 80,000. They're just having problems getting attendance in there. And of course, I almost said Tannehill. Trevor Lawrence, that helped, attendance quite a bit. But he's been positioning the Urban Meyer thing pretty well, and even though it hasn't worked out yet, we'll have to see what happens over the next couple of weeks. I thought that he had a really good game plan going into Thursday night. I was very impressed, and of course he had that weird incident with the girl. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to kind of stay away for that. But I think Urban Meyer finishes the year. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the offseason. Hamilton has to be the pick first. Hamilton, but if they have to pick, it has to be Thibodeau, though. If they can get CNA, the safety from Georgia. And it's those like 9 espressos I had before I went on here. I'm anxious to see what all these guys are going to look like at the combine. And I think we're going to see a combine this year. We're going to be down Byron Murphy, Chase Edmonds, Justin Murray, Kelvin Beachum, possibly Marco Wilson, and Antonio. Wow. That's not good. I mean, it's good that you're playing a rookie, but I didn't know you're down that bad. They're banged up with injuries too. So if you come on Wednesday and you blame injuries, I'm not going to hear it. I'm just going to say no. Every team does that. So I believe Glenn's going to pound the table hard for Hamilton. He may pound the table hard for a corner. I don't know. We got a lot of football to go, but we're going to talk a lot of draft stuff, so it's going to be fun. Dan, did you say you played teasers? If so, what's your strategy? I do not like playing teasers at all. I don't like it. But if you do, you can usually get, I know with my bookie, you can stand out on a 2-way. If you are going to do it, you really got to find 2 game. All right. I wouldn't do this, but let's say I was. All right. Let's say I was. Okay. You got to pick 2 dogs that you think have a chance to win. All right. Two dogs that you think got a really good, legitimate chance to win. All right. Let's see if I can find one. All right. And I'm not sold on this. I'm using this as an example. Pittsburgh's now a 1-point dog. It was a pick 'em. Let's just say I like Pittsburgh, and let's say I can get 2. All right. I wouldn't do 1, but let's just say 2. All right. Let's see if I can find another one. God, I don't think I can find anyone. All right, let me give you. I'm going to give you a example. I'm going to ruin this because I was going to save it, but Cleveland's my bet. I'm going to put action on Cleveland. Cleveland's now a 2-point dog. It opened as a pick. I'm heavy action on the Chargers. Chargers are at home. I love Cleveland in this game. All right, I'm going to see if I can get 2.5, maybe 3. And then I'm also going to double dip and do like the I'm going to take the points and I'm going to do the money line. And I also want to get a prop on either Chubb or Hunt. I may do multiple props. That said, I wasn't aware of the Carolina game. I might actually put some more money into my bookie, but I really don't want to do that. Okay. If there was a second game, I like Cleveland as a dog to win outright. Pittsburgh's a 1-point dog. Let's say they were a 2 or 3, and I like Pittsburgh to win. Then I might do a 2-way. All right. I might do a 2-way. I avoid. Let me tell you this. Prop bets are usually sucker bets. Teasers are usually sucker bets. I try to bet very small, but right now I'm doing at a loss. But I try to bet small. Teasers are fun. They're entertaining, but they're also designed to bring you in. I avoid them like the plague. But if you do want to do one, do it where you have 2 dogs, ideally at home, that you think will win. So, very long. Yeah, you're right. Robert Alpha, our third corner. Ooh, that is not good. And Brad Holmes is going to touch himself. Oh, God. To tell you the truth, I was really surprised that you weren't able to get John Johnson. I was really surprised you couldn't get John Johnson. I really thought you were going to get him. Sheila Hamp is actually a tennis champion from back in our day. She has the desire to be the best, and the way the draft went, I think she'll do this regime 3 years. I don't agree with that at all. And the reason why is that you're going to have a lot of change after this year. You're going to have a lot of changes. And if you go 4 or 5 wins in 2022, then there'll absolutely be a change. I'm telling you that right now. Biggest need: safety, edge, linebacker, wide receiver, corner, safety. We gave Millen $8 million because he's a San Francisco guy and he had a man crush on Walsh. Yeah, I actually forgot about that connection. So I'm just saying this is I understand that, but the new regime is not going to be patient. You have to have all right when. Let's say you win 2 games, right? You're 2-16, all right, or 2-15. I'm sorry. Let's just say you're 2-15. The next year, you can't be 4-13. You can't. All right. You're going to make a ton of changes. What you're looking at now is going to be different in 2022. I'm telling you this right now. It's going to be completely different. So this is pretty funny. Pride UC mocks people are making, giving us a QB. I left a message on one guy's, maybe if you told him defensive. This, I 100% agree with you. There's not a quarterback in this draft that I would really want to take. To tell you the truth, if you can get Ritter in round 2, which if you have a high pick in round 2, that would make sense. But what teams did you have going over the win total? I had 3 big bets, and I had Pittsburgh over 8.5. I had Seattle over 10, and then I have San Francisco under 10. And then I had 3 small bets. I had Kansas City over 12.5, the Jets under 6, and Raiders over 8. And those are small. The small bets were 100, and I have a $200 bet on the Chiefs winning the AFC West. And then I have 3 $1,000 bets, and I'm throwing that $1,000 away on Seattle, but hopefully San Francisco hits. San Francisco under 10, I got plus 150, so that $1,000 wager will win me $2,500 or win me $1,500. Walk out of the casino at 25. So yes, you do. Yes, and I do see this. Red Sea, the Lions need to have the NFL. There needs to be. There's actually so many. Okay, I'm going to get back on topic, but you're right, and this is where the Lions, I think, will really take advantage. I think what you'll see is the Lions take a page out of the Carolina playbook. And I think what they're going to do is go like all defense and build that defense up. And I also think that they're going to change schemes after this season's over. It'll be interesting. All right. New England travels to Houston. New England's an 8-point favorite. New England's whole offensive line minus the center is injured. A lot of injuries. Over-under 39.5. Belichick's money against a rookie quarterback. I do like New England, even though the offensive line is dead basically. I do like New England, but I'm not going to bet on this one. This is going to be a better game than people think. The Bears at the Raiders. The Raiders have multiple offensive line injuries. That's why I like this game. The Bears are a 5.5-point dog going to Vegas. I do like the Bears, but I'm going to avoid this game like the plague. I am going to take Cleveland here in LA. Right now, Cleveland's a 2-point dog. It opens a pick 'em. And action was fluctuating. I think I can get 2.5. That's why I haven't made the bet yet. But looking at Carolina being 3, I was not aware of that. So let's see what I'm going to do here, because I'm hesitant to go all in on Cleveland. But I really like Cleveland. I think I'm going to get 2.5. I'll probably double dip and do the 2 points or 2.5, and I'll do the money line. And I want to get a prop bet. The Chargers have been terrible stopping the run. That's why I really like Cleveland. I'm leaning towards the under in this game, which is 47, but I may pass on that completely. Giants at Dallas. This is going to be a good one. Dallas is a 7-point favorite. I actually like the Giants in this one, but I'm going to pass putting action on this one. The over-under is 52.5, which may be a little high, but I'm not going to put action on this one. Amazement has the Giants in 7. I'm going to be pulling for them, and that's the play I would make. So, and then finally, the final game that you already know what I'm going to do. You know I'm going to put action on this, but I'm waiting. Buffalo at Kansas City. Kansas City's a 3-point favorite, and the over/under is 56.5. It was 2.5. I'm going to wait till it drops to 2.5. Right now, it's even at -3. It's going to drop. I think I can get 2.5. A lot of people keep throwing this number out that Buffalo's got this great defense. They've won against 3 backup quarterbacks, Tua for a quarter, and Ben Roethlisberger. All right, now, am I saying Ben Roethlisberger at his prime is not as good as Mahomes? I'm not saying that, but at this point in this 2021, Mahomes is a lot better than Roethlisberger, and that's not my Chiefs homerism coming out. That's just a fact. So Buffalo's great defense has been against 3 backup quarterbacks, Tua for a quarter, and Ben Roethlisberger. They haven't seen Kansas City. So I do like Kansas City to win this game. I am going to put action on it, but I'm waiting until I get 2.5. And also I might take some prop bet action. I'm going to have to wait and see. My plan is that if I bet on Cleveland, I was going to take those winnings, kind of parlay it. But I am going to put a little bit. I'm really tempted to take Carolina. I might actually put some more money into it, but I'm kind of don't want to do that. So, and then let's see here. Yeah, Pride. That's what's funny is Brosma had a mock, and I told him that I don't know who that is, but I mean, look, there's a lot of things that are going to change. A lot of things are going to change. You never know. The Detroit may end up giving away that pick for something. A lot of things could happen. Niners was a good bet for under, especially in that. I thought so too. And I got a great number because originally I thought it was going to be 10.5, and that's the number I wanted. But when I arrived, it was 10 at plus 150. I'm like, oh my God, I might just go all in. And then they start off 2-0 with two road wins. I'm like, uh-oh, but yeah. Are the Lions the worst team in the NFL? The answer is no. And I think there's a good chance. Without pulling their schedule up, I know they play Atlanta and I know they play Philly, and there's a good chance they win both of those games. I think if they played maybe the Jets, I think they would win. I mean, they're in the bottom 5, but they're not. No, they're not the worst. That's hilarious. I've even seen the Draft Network draft him. Are you talking about Are you talking about quarterback or Hamilton? So I really do think this is a throwaway year. The reason they didn't get John Johnson, in my opinion, is to draft capital. If they pay him, he would cancel out the Kenny G comp pick. Possibility, but I don't think that. I think it's a throwaway year, but it's the foundation. All right, you got to get key players. All right, you're seeing what you got in Goff. All right, let's just say we agree that Goff's not a good quarterback. Well, okay, well you got your two number ones for him. You know he's not the answer, so you know you have to get a quarterback. The question is, do you want to go in free agency or you want to go in the draft? And before you say you got to draft a quarterback, there's some interesting players in free agency. All right. You got a guy like Jameis Winston, lots of upside, lots of mistakes. All right. You have Goff. When if he starts improving? You know, that's another thing. Jimmy G, he's going to be available. Do you want to go for Matt Ryan? He'll probably be available after the year. You probably can't afford him, but, I'm just throwing some names out there. Okay. You want to roll dice on somebody like Marcus Mariota. See if you can get a reclamation project. You can get Mariota cheap. You can probably get Drew Lock cheap. Cam Newton. Do you bring Cam Newton in and just say, why not? Let two compete. Let's see what you can do. You're also going to get Fitzmagic. He'll be on a new team. What about this Heineke kid? He's not the answer long term. So there's so many things you can do. I just named 9 quarterbacks. I think 9. What about Tua? And by the way, I did it on purpose. I didn't include Watson. I did that on purpose. So you have all those, and then you could still draft a guy. Which I really think they want to draft somebody this year. And I'm really I just got a feeling that they really like Ritter. I just don't think they want to take him top 5, which I wouldn't do. So you have your foundation, all right? Who do you have to build on? Well, you got Swift, you have Hawkinson, you have some pieces on your offensive line. Don't be surprised if the trade deadline comes and Lewan, if he's healthy, passes a physical, if he's on the trade block. That would be a great trading piece. Maybe get second. So, yeah, see, pride the Jags actually look competent in their games. I'll be honest. I think Jacksonville's better than a few of these one-win teams. I think Jacksonville will win a few games. I think that actually really was impressed with the way they played against Cincinnati. And keep in mind, that injury is not a good injury for a running back to have. But when they get Travis Etienne would add a lot to this team. That was a major blow. I mean, this is a 25th overall pick who's not even going to play this year. This is a very key component. And so if he comes back healthy and he comes back ready to play, that's going to be a big upgrade for Jacksonville for next year. So, yeah, but Funk, they were high on his tracks, though. John Johnson. I think they really did want Johnson. I think they did. It's hard to say, but Niners got Texans, Jags, Bears, Falcons, and Vikings on their schedule. You might be okay as long as they get swept by the Rams and Cards. I feel good about San Francisco. I feel bad about Seattle, and I need Pittsburgh to get better. I wouldn't be surprised if they go after Marcus Williams. Hamilton, yeah, I'll pass on Mr. Oh yeah, next year the line. Yeah, there's going to be major changes with Detroit. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, Funk, but I'm just saying you don't have to draft a quarterback this year. You can go after a young guy. Did I get another name wrong? God damn it. All right. I'm sorry, man. They wanted him, but rumor is they lowballed him on the offer. That actually makes sense, to tell you the truth. And Cleveland, I thought, gave him too much. But the defense, the Browns' defense is really good. I agree with you, Red Sea. I thought there was going to be a couple quarterbacks. I was not high on Spencer Rattler at all. Wasn't high on him at all. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he stays in Oklahoma this year. But if he comes out, he could be a first rounder. I'm not high on him at all. Not high on him at all. Desmond Ridder, the Cincinnati quarterback, would be my number one guy. I don't think he's a first round quarterback, but his stock's just go. I have a feeling once the season's over, his stock's just going to skyrocket. I think he's going to ace the interviews and he's going to ace the whiteboard, and he'll end up being in the first round. He may be a guy who, after the season's over, is a third round. I got him as a second, third round or somewhere around there. After the season's over, he may go into the first round. The UNC quarterback, Howard, I think it's Howard. I'll give you a dark horse guy. He's a junior who I love. I think he's a third, fourth round guy, and that may be generous, is the Arizona State quarterback. I love his game. Played under Herm. If he's smart, he stays in school because he's a dark horse Heisman candidate. But he may come out because of the bad quarterback class. And then Mike's not. I saw Mike earlier. Grayson McCall is probably the best quarterback in college football. I haven't watched Coastal Carolina play. I think he's a sophomore, and I think he's a true sophomore, if I remember right. But if he's a redshirt sophomore, he may want to come out. He may be a first-round pick. So, yeah, I do agree with you. This is, to be perfectly honest with you, if you're the Detroit Lions, this is a perfect draft for you because you load up on quarterbacks, and I think that the Clemson quarterback is having a terrible year. I still think he's the number one pick in 2023. So, what did you think on the Gilmore deal? I thought it was brilliant. Because when he comes back, you get him, Henderson, and if Horn comes back for the playoffs, you got some really good corners. He probably won't stay in Carolina long term, right? He'll probably be on a new team in 2022, but I love Carolina being aggressive. Their cap situation in the next couple of years is going to be really bad. And because they have a bunch of young players, it'll be very weird how they handle it. But I love Carolina's philosophy. We're going to play man. We're going to bring corners. And when CMC gets back, they have one of the best running backs in football. So I love what Carolina's doing. It's just that I can see them being a wild card team. I don't see them advancing in the playoffs. I mean, I don't see them as a threat, but I actually like it. I actually do like it. I love what he does. He's on the PUP list, so he can't play for another couple weeks. But after this year, he'll go somewhere else. So, only teams that will take a quarterback are the ones that are desperate. I think that if you take Ridder in the second round, I think that's brilliant. But if you take him in the first round, you're kind of like, God, I hope so. So, Funk, you were impressed with Justin Fields. I really wasn't. Didn't even throw a touchdown against one of the worst defenses. Ridder and I forgot about Willis. Our top two would have been top 5 last year. Top 5 picks or top 5 quarterbacks? Wouldn't have been. Okay. I don't even like Coral or Willis. That's what. No, Fields made 5 nasty throws, and the rest he uses like a few times. With Willis, I'll be honest. I have no idea what the no. I don't know. I really don't. I'm gonna have to wait till the combine and see how he throws, and then I really want to see his pro day. From what I've gathered, I think NFL teams are not really high on him. To tell you the truth, I think Ridder is a guy that after season's over, his stock's going to skyrocket. I don't know about Willis. Rattler is a guy I think NFL teams will love to interview, but I've watched him play a couple times. I'm not impressed. Not impressed. If I'm Rattler, I come back to school because if I remember right, the way it works is that they'll play an SEC schedule, I think in 2023 or 2024. But if he can play a Big 12 schedule next year, he'll be a Heisman candidate. This year, he's got to do some crazy stuff in order to get back in the race. And Fields shouldn't be making a lot of throws. Montgomery's out, or he could be out, I think. But Fields should be using his legs, and he shouldn't be throwing the ball a lot at all if you're going to start him. So, but I do like Fields. You just got to use them the right way. You can't use the offense Matt Nagy wants to run. You got to dumb it down for him year one. Year two, you can have him do a lot of different things. So, but who would take a QB early since bad teams already have QBs? There's a lot of teams that have made trades. Miami's an interesting situation because they're gonna have multiple picks in the first round. Minnesota's going to have what looks like to be multiple picks in the first round. Minnesota may want to take a quarterback. They may. Let's just say Zimmer's on the hot seat. Okay, let's just say Zimmer's on. Let's say you move on from Zimmer. All right, they may want to go ahead and bring in a new quarterback. Why not? Other teams that got multiple first round picks. The Giants. They're not sold on Daniel Jones. Don't buy that great performance last week. If the Giants are 6-10 or 6-11, 5-12, they may want to move on. If they get a brand new head coach, and if the Giants get a new coach, they'll probably get a new general manager, and usually you want to bring in your own quarterback. Trying to think of who else has multiple draft picks in the first round. There's several teams. So Washington's a team that definitely will address the quarterback situation after the years. They're not sold on Maneke, whatever. But both of them are top 5 quarter. I don't think they weren't top 5 quarterbacks in this draft, but in this coming up draft, they are. Yeah. No Holmes drafts Rattler or Howard. No Holmes drafts Rattler or Howard should be fired. I think the Colts really want to stick with Wentz. I think so. Seriously, Rattler is on the verge of being benched. Sooner fans are chanting backups names. Rattler is like a junior high school. Rattler will stay as the quarterback, and he'll get better. I watched him play against West Virginia. I've never been as high on him as a lot of people, but the coaching staff, to the best of my knowledge, does like him. And Oklahoma fans are kind of goofy. I mean, look at what they're used to. All right. I mean, a couple of Heisman Trophy winners. Jalen Hurts was a candidate. I think he actually was invited to the ceremony. Put up Heisman numbers. Rattler will crank it back up. So, but I mean, people are talking about him going number 1. I'm like, no, and I do think he'll come back. So, yeah, I can see the Giants moving on from Jones. I don't think they fully trust him the way they play. No, they don't. And I think that they're really expecting a jump up, especially with Jason Garrett being the offensive coordinator and possibly head coach very soon. They were really expecting him to take a Dak Prescott step, and he hasn't. And here's another thing is that if you're the Giants and you move on from Daniel Jones and you draft a quarterback, it just gives you more free agent money to use on the defense, which I think they were expecting to be a little better. Plus, I know he had some big plays against the Saints. I'm not 100% sure Saquon Barkley's at 100%. So if you go into 2022 with Barkley being better than this year and a new quarterback, which allows more free agent money to be spent on defense, that can be really good. So, yeah, but I don't see them really. I see them moving on from Jones. I really do. And the Giants quarterback situation is going to be interesting. And they do have 2 first-round picks. I actually, to be honest with you, the Giants are my number 1 team to get Deshaun Watson. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what I think. If I'm the Lions, I interview all the top quarterbacks and pray someone offers a little something to fall back in and probably more likely will pick third or better. Eagles, multiple picks, Steelers, Giants, Washington. Yeah, absolutely. And this is smart. And this is what I would do. And to be perfectly honest with you, I might even have players involved here. If you're, for example, let's say you're the let's say you're the Washington football team and the Lions. I know they love Terry McLaurin, that wide receiver. I know they love him, but they may not be able to keep him. He may, after this season, because he was a third-round pick, he may just say, hey, look, you got to pay me. I want $100 million. And Washington may be like, God, we need a quarterback. We need to fix our defense. We can't pay you. We got some other picks. Let's just go ahead and we'll move on. They may just say, hey, look, we'll give you a first. We'll give you a McLaurin. That would be a good pick. The Giants may be able to throw in a defensive player. I forgot about the Eagles. The Eagles do have multiple picks as well. But, yeah, absolutely. Rattler staying back wouldn't exactly be smart. There's some really good quarterbacks for next year. There is some good quarterbacks for this year, but I don't think that – here's the reason why I'm saying he could stay is because – if he stays, he has NFL talent playing against Big 12 teams. And this week's actually a huge game for him because if he puts up like 500 yards and 6 touchdowns against Texas, he goes from being a guy that we're trashing to being a Heisman candidate. And if they beat Texas, they're 6th right now. They get a chance to go to a bowl championship series. Now, are they as good as Georgia or Bama? No, of course not. But if they go to a bowl championship series and he puts up big numbers in either one of those games, which he could, then he has a chance of going into the first round. But if he stays back and has NFL players, because Oklahoma's a semi-pro team, and in the Big 12 is just a joke right now. But I think, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think they still play a Big 12 schedule next year. Apparently their backup quarterback is a stud. So, yeah. Perfect Hamilton range. You talking top 5. And there's a lot. So, well, yeah. I would be shocked if the Lions used the let's just say they don't make any trades. I would be shocked if they used that first pick on a quarterback, at least not this year. So, Vikings a good one too. They got young weapons on offense. May need a single caller. I wanted the Bucks to go after the running back Madison. I like him, but he wouldn't get a chance playing behind Cook. No, he won't. And I know they drafted Mond, but if they move on and they move on in head coach position, usually the head coach wants to pick his quarterback, and he may not be fond of Mund or Cousins, and that's an if. And here's another thing: when if you're a team, I never understood why Cousins didn't work in Washington. I thought he played really well, and I thought it would have been a great fit. So maybe you can make that work. I don't know. But the reason why is that here's the deal. If they blow up the team in Minnesota, which they might do, I mean, look, Zimmer's got to get this fixed fast, right? Zimmer's got to get this fixed fast. If they lose Zimmer, Kubiak may end up with a head coaching job. By the way, it's not Gary Kubiak. It's Kubiak's son, who's the offensive coordinator in Minnesota. And I have no idea what his plans are, if he wants to go college or pros or what, but he will get offers to be a head coach. I think he'll get some interviews because that offense is doing a fantastic job. He'll get some interviews. He's a head coach candidate, believe it or not. And so if he moves on and Zimmer moves on, nobody on that Vikings team will be safe, including Cook, believe it or not. Yeah. Maybe the Dolphins, because I think they're done with Tua. That's going to be a fun story because the Dolphins are a team I was really expecting to be better, and they look like they're garbage. And they're going to have multiple picks, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. I do too. I like Mund. I like Mund a lot. I actually, if Zimmer stays there, it wouldn't surprise me if Mund gets a chance to start over the next year or two. If you're talking about, I as of right now, Hamilton's a top 8 pick. Yeah. I don't know, but Holmes loves a prospect. He will stay with it like he did with Sewell. My gut feeling's Holmes going to pound the table for Hamilton. Possibility. I know I bring up Hamilton a lot. Hey, listen, everybody's got a draft crush player, but earlier you were draft crushing on Thibodeau, and I think between the two, you got to take a pass rusher. You have to. So they handled the contract situation. Yeah, I never understood. Number one, I didn't understand what they didn't like about him. The guy was a 4th-round pick, started, played well, wanted to get paid, deserved to get paid, and then they gave him a bunch of 1-year deals. I don't get it. If they lose to the Lions, he will get fired. That's not as far-fetched as you may think, because the Vikings are not in a good situation. And if they lose this week, that puts them really behind the 8 ball. Now, keep in mind, let's bring this up. I'm going to bring this up because I don't know it off the top of my head. I don't know the standings in the NFC North, so let's take a look here. Okay, Green Bay's 3-1, Chicago's 2-2. So if you fall to 1-4, that might be enough to get you fired, especially if you lose to Detroit. I'm not insulting Lions fans here. Here's another deal, is that you play at Carolina, then you have a bye. So let's say you lose to the Lions, it wouldn't surprise me if he does get fired. And the reason why is that you would have, I don't know the whole coaching staff off the top of my head, but I don't know who the defensive coordinator is, but Kubiak might actually take over as coach. There's a lot of things that could happen. So, but because they have a bye coming up, they have the Lions, Panthers, and then bye. So it wouldn't surprise me. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if this happens. The ownership decides that, let's say the Lions beat the Vikings. If they decide they're going to fire him, but wait until the Carolina game, win or lose. So, and they'll probably, they're going to rearrange everything, but I don't know when the schedule starts. I don't think it's this year. So Oklahoma, granted, if they beat Texas and they don't lose to anybody else, there'll be a top 5 team. So it's all that Patriot stuff. It hasn't worked anywhere else. It really hasn't worked anywhere else. And as of right now, without Tom Brady, it doesn't work, period. So I agree the way that Hamilton covers ground and being that big is special. I'm not hating on the guy. It's just that if you have a pass rusher and you have a safety, you have to go pass rusher. And Thibodeau is a guy. So Thibodeau's a guy, as of right now, he would be the number 1 pick. If the Lions beat anyone, I think Minnesota's an exception. And the reason why is that they were really expecting the team to be better. This was a dark horse to win the division, and they're 1-3. And if they go to 1-4, Zimmer's been on the hot seat. So I mean, if he goes 1-4, I mean, you kind of got to move on. And this schedule coming up can be kind of brutal. So do you see Baker getting a long-term deal or tag, which may be more expensive, or can the Browns possibly move on from Baker altogether? This is one of the most interesting stories in all of the NFL because Baker turned down I think it was a 3-year, $93 million extension, and that was smart by Baker because, obviously you want more money, and he wants to get paid the $40 to $50 million range. Does he deserve it? I don't think he does. But, I mean, those Progressive commercials are fantastic. And you may say, what do those commercials have to do with getting a contract? It's exposure. I mean, everybody's seen Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield can get a lot of money from another team. There is multiple NFL teams that would give Baker Mayfield a lot of money, right? And you don't think so? If things don't work out, Daniel Jones, could the Giants offer Baker Mayfield a 5-year, $200 million deal? 100%. Absolutely. And would he be worth it? No. But could it happen? Yes. If I'm the Browns, he really fits the team, but he's not a guy who's going to take you to the next step. All right. If you ever listen to the Around the Six podcast, and I recommend it for anybody, I'm not associated with it. It's by the NFL Network. Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks. They say the same thing over and over again. With quarterbacks, you have the truck and you have the trailer. Now you can win a Super Bowl with the trailer. And then the trailer is you got to have everything correct and you move on down the line. And you can win a Super Bowl with the trailer. All right, that is possible. But the truck is the guy that'll take you there. Now in Kansas City, Alex Smith was the trailer, and they kept on getting to the playoffs. They couldn't get past it. Then you got Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the truck. Baker Mayfield's the trailer. Can he have good games? Can he make great commercials? Can he have highlight reel stuff? Absolutely, 100%. Is he a truck? The answer is no. If I'm the Browns, I would move on. I would say suit up, get in, because he's not the truck. The Browns are a team that may surprise you and take a quarterback in the first round. They may say, hey, you know what? We're going to use our first round pick on a quarterback. We'll try to sign Baker, but we'll have our backup ready to roll. Make things uncomfortable. And I think Stefanski likes Baker Mayfield. I think Stefanski likes Baker Mayfield. But let's face it, I don't think Baker Mayfield's overly special. I think there's at least 10 quarterbacks in the NFL better, maybe 12. I'll be honest with you, and I'm not, I'm saying this because I got a lot of Lions fans in here. I don't think there's too much of a difference between Goff and Baker Mayfield. I actually think that if Goff was in Cleveland, he would do the same things. I think he really would. I think he'd do the same exact things. But this is going to be a fun story. It's going to be really interesting to see how the Browns handle this. I think that they'll work a deal out. I think they'll work a deal out. I think Baker stays in Cleveland. But if I'm Cleveland, I play hardball. That's what I would do. Absolutely. Absolutely. I really do believe this. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I know you're a 10-point dog. But this game just is really interesting. There's something I kind of look at this and I'm like, Minnesota has been coming up short. Is this a game where they come out kind of flat? Absolutely. 100%. 100%. The defense isn't that good. Cleveland's defense is a lot better than I thought, but they held them to 7. Dalvin Cook's not going to play. I mean, here's the deal. You need to have some turnovers. Some of your players need to have big games. But, yeah, absolutely. The defense isn't that good, and their best player is not going to play. So, yeah, absolutely. You absolutely have a chance. Division game, why not? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're the best 2 players in the draft, so – Haskell Garrett and DeMarvin. For those of you that don't know, I haven't watched him yet, but he's a defensive lineman out Texas A&M, and he's going to go very high in the draft. Very high in the draft. Yeah, I know. I would say Carolina's got no picks, and they got like a 1st and a 5th next year. I didn't know that. I actually didn't know that, but they have some weird cap situation after the year, but the next year's draft is going to be a lot of fun. I'm very, as you know, I'm very excited. We're going to do a lot of draft talk. It'll be a lot of fun. Baker better than Goff. I actually don't think there's too much of a difference. I'm telling you right now, Jared Goff was on the Browns, you would see the same thing. There would be almost no difference. And if Baker was on the Lions, you would be getting the same thing. Probably more picks, to be honest with you. I'm not bad mouthing Baker. I'm just saying, look at your quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls. Okay, look at your quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls. Brady and Mahomes. Let's just take those two. Okay, I mean you only count Foles. You can count Foles. Okay, Foles would be Foles would be a Baker Mayfield equivalent. So like, if you have everything in place, yeah, you run the right place, yeah, you can win. But is Baker a Brady or a Mahomes? The answer is no. And he's never going to be. He's going to be above average. That's why I wouldn't pay him the big money. I thought Cleveland, 3-year, $93 million. This was a brilliant move. And it was brilliant by Baker saying, no, I want more. And you know what? He's going to get more from Cleveland. My prediction is Baker will sign a big deal with Cleveland. And it won't work out. He'll get them to the playoffs. They won't win a Super Bowl because Baker's not good enough. And because he signed a big year deal, they won't be able to get enough players. If I'm Cleveland, I play hardball with them. I say, okay, look, you don't want to take a team-friendly deal? We can win with a rookie quarterback. We can win with Jameis Winston, Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater. So, yeah, he is. There's not a lot of love for Jared Goff here. When Steelers move on from Ben, should they draft a quarterback or try to sign a much better quarterback for experience, try to win right away, or maybe go out there? Okay. The Steelers have been trying for years to draft a quarterback. They've drafted multiple quarterbacks. They took Mason Rudolph in the third, which I thought was brilliant and I thought would work out and hasn't. They got Dwayne Haskins for almost nothing. They drafted a quarterback out of Tennessee that I really liked, which I thought was a smart move. That hasn't worked out. They drafted a lot of quarterbacks, and it hasn't worked out. It just hasn't worked out. They will go after another quarterback. They're going to go after Rodgers. They're going to go after – I think Watson would be a great fit, but I don't think Watson would want to go to Pittsburgh. Like I said, I still think he goes to I still think that he goes to the Giants, but Tua would be an interesting choice if the Dolphins decide they want to move on. I could see Tua going to Pittsburgh. But yeah, absolutely. I think the Steelers have been trying to draft a quarterback and it hasn't worked. They're going to go after a veteran. I think Rodgers will end up in Pittsburgh. I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening. Garoppolo, he's another guy. I haven't mentioned him, but Garoppolo is a guy who might be available in the next couple of weeks before the trade deadline, because Trey Lance is going to start this game. He's going to have the bye, and then he's going to start the rest of the year, which we've been seeing. So Leo is a guy you can get at 10-ish, so you would take him in an extra first round next year and an extra second this year. Here's the deal. Don't forget, you have 2 number ones in 2022. I know it'd be a lot of fun to have 3 picks in 2023. I get that. But I really think that what you're doing is you're building the floor, right? You got to have a big improvement in 2022 if you're the Detroit Lions. So I do see you getting creative, but I don't see you getting creative where you're wanting a number 1 pick next year. I'm thinking that you're wanting a player or maybe more picks this year. So it'll be interesting. But Leo is a guy, let's say you get him at 10 and you get an extra second and an extra, that's not a bad trade. I don't know if they do that. It'll be interesting. You're asking me, amazing, bring in A-Rod and draft a kid, but tell Rodgers to give him 3 years no matter what, barring injury. Yes, pride. Oh, okay. Maybe, but we'll draft somebody like Jordan Battle or Bubble Bolden. Battle is strictly a box safety. I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of these guys, and keep in mind, after the season's over, we're going to talk a lot of draft stuff. I'm gonna try to do 32 draft videos. But listen, hey, I'm coming up on 150. I cannot thank you guys enough. I've absolutely loved doing this. It's my favorite thing on planet Earth. Please listen, if you haven't already, give me a thumbs up. And drop a comment below. It helps the algorithm. And listen, everybody have a great weekend. Please note, if you want my advice, you're going to put some action down, I will respond. Just don't send me a message on Sunday. I'm probably on my phone off all Sunday, but send me a message on Saturday. I will be able to get back to you. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining the show, and I'll see everybody back Wednesday.